because you don't take shots. So me and Harry gonna take shots.
I don't give a
Shut up!
You gonna lose. I guarantee you that.
Boss, do you think you're rich?
I'm not rich.
Do you think you're wealthy?
I'm serious.
You?
Everything you say. Down, man. You out of line, man. You think you know fucking right? You out of line, man. I don't care, yo. You out of line, bro. I don't care, yo. Stop. Stop, bro.
Kevin Hart has been making some headlines recently, and for all the wrong reasons. First, it was his beef with Tasha K. Then, it was everyone pointing fingers at him about those Diddy tapes. And now, there are receipts that show that Kevin Hart is not doing so well financially, and his recent movies have flopped. Badly, and are raising serious questions about whether or not he's still a bankable movie star. Also, did you see how he closed all 4 of his Hart House vegan restaurant locations at the same time? Word is that Kevin has been having a pretty hard time keeping Hart House going because the coins are drying up. He expected this to be his big money maker to maintain his extravagant lifestyle, but he was mistaken.
Gambling problem or something?
Kevin definitely has a gambling problem.
How bad?
Very bad. He spends at least 3 days a week.
Now that he isn't pulling in revenue from Hart House and isn't being considered for those blockbuster roles like he used to, he's getting to the point where he's thinking about selling his assets just to stay afloat. Like I said, the man just closed all 4 of his vegan fast food locations. So either folk went back to KFC or little man is in trouble. And when he spoke on it, all we got was a very simple, very plain, very much talking but not actually telling us anything thank you post on IG that no one could even inquire details on since the comments section was turned off. And people who went down there to see for themselves found out that the joints were indeed closed. Doors were locked shut. Andy Hopper, the CEO of Hart House, confirmed that the restaurants were in fact gone and said, quote, "The response to the product has been incredible, and we thank our committed team, our customers, our community partners for helping make the change we all craved, and for their unwavering support of Hart House." End quote. But if the response to the product was so incredible, then why did they have to shut down? Now, let's give Kevin some slack here. The restaurant business is a hard game to crack and have long-term success in. And when you think of Kevin, food or restaurants isn't really the first thing that comes to mind. And who would really want to spend $14 buying a fake cheeseburger at Hart House when they can very well get a better deal at Plant Power or Monty's Burger? The restaurant was being held together by Kevin's ego and popularity alone. And ain't nobody eating that. But with Kevin closing all 4 of his locations, people are assuming that he's doing that because of financial issues. Kevin also closed his restaurants in the midst of this alleged Diddy freak-off tape fiasco. And I guess Kevin said, well, it's heating up and I'm about to get out the kitchen, literally. And I can imagine the Diddy tape situation and his name being dragged left, right, and center for being Diddy's freak-off partner being a lot for Kevin to handle. And Kevin was allegedly one of those celebrities moving assets around trying to cut his losses as quickly as possible in case his name really got caught up in all of this messy drama. And to make matters even worse, Nico is reportedly worried that Kevin's extravagant lifestyle is draining money faster than he's making it. A few years ago, Kevin was neck deep in debt and took 2 years for him to pay it all off when his movie started getting massively successful.
Owed the government an absurd amount of money. I was like, what? I don't understand what happened to the money that I had. I looked up, I couldn't even tell you where. I dedicated the same thing so I could get out that hole even more. Yep. So I paid that back, and then the following year, I did the same thing so I could be double out the hole. So I'm in a hole, 500, but you really do need a million.
Yes.
You need that.
Yeah.
But because the government, it was so long, I was able to get a little bit of a break in the amount of money I owed. So I settled for a less amount. It was still a chunky amount, but I ended up paying probably like $700 total to get out. But it took me a year and a half, 2 years to do that. And then once I got out, I said, oh, never again.
It's like when these celebs start making serious money in Hollywood, their worst habits start shining through and they get caught up in all of these expensive vices. And Kevin was definitely not an exception. After he cheated on Eniko while she was pregnant and ready to pop, as well as lying on his longtime friend JT Jackson, people were already beginning to see that Kevin wasn't really all that we hoped he was. Then his former PA went on to expose more about his personal life and revealed that he had a terrible gambling problem.
Gambling problem or something?
Kevin definitely has a gambling problem.
How bad?
Very bad. He spends at least 3 days a week he's gambling. He plays high stake poker. One day, while I was sleeping and I had to work in the morning, and I get a call from him and he's like, Maisha. And I was like, hello? And he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, okay, well, you think you can come get me? I was like, why? Where are you? Where's Eniko? And he was like, she can't figure out where I'm at because she'll be upset. She knows how he gambles. I asked him, I said, are you drunk? Can you drive yourself home? He was like, I'm drunk. Well, he's been drinking. He's under the influence and he's been driving. And I said, well, which one are you more of? And he said he was more under the influence than he was tired. And I was like, okay. I said, well, in that case, I'll get my daughter up and I'll get ready to come get you. And then he was like, hold on, I have a call on the other line. And he was like, oh, it's Darlene. So he clicked over on the opposite end of the call. And I waited up 15 minutes. The phone hung up and I waited up 15 minutes and I was like, I'm going back to sleep. So the next day in the office, Kevin had on black shades and Darlene was there. She was like, this nigga. And I was like, girl, I said, he had me up in the morning.
What? How much like would he gamble? Like, give me a number like per hand. What the hell? Like, what is it?
I know it was over $1 million. Because I know he borrowed some money from Dave Becky one time, who was his manager.
Kevin was leaving millions on the casino table every week and had to borrow money just to play poker. If he was spending so much and actually winning, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But according to Maisha, Kevin is terrible at the game and loses almost every time he plays. But he enjoys going there for the thrill and the fact that he is always the biggest person in the room when he shows up. Kevin Hart even admitted himself that he's a bit of a gambler and would splurge every now and then.
Favorite or best gambling story? I think it was like during my first marriage where I got mad. We were arguing. I was like, I'm driving to Vegas. I'm pissed.
Forget you. Forget the house. I'm out. Boom. Give a shit, man. My keys. God damn it. My keys.
And I had like $3,000. I was like, I'm about to go take this $3,000 and turn it into so much money. I went there by myself. 4 hours drove. It was the most exciting drive I've ever taken in my life. Only to get to Vegas, valet park the car, lose that money in about 35 minutes, and have the longest drive home that I've ever had in my life.
Damn.
People already know that Eniko is well aware of Kevin's gambling problems, and the truth is, she had allegedly tried to put her foot down and tell her husband how financially irresponsible he's being with all of their money. But Kevin is the breadwinner of the family, and there's only so much Eniko can do to stop him from spending his money however he wants. But what's really got her pressed are these women Kevin's taking up his time with as he travels and splurges in these casinos. Now, Eniko was a side chick herself, so she knows what these women are willing to do to keep a man, especially one like Kevin. Do you remember the whole drama between her and Tori, Kevin's ex-wife? Oh yeah, Eniko was flaunting that engagement ring, knowing good and well that when she got with him, he was married. And she was never apologetic about being one of the causes of his marriage deteriorating. Now that the shoe's on the other foot, Eniko ain't too happy about these women gathering like vultures around her man. But regardless of how she feels, the damage has already been done, and the consequences are that Kevin Hart is constantly fueling his gambling addiction and spending money on things he can't comfortably afford, and also surrounding himself with people who do not have a problem stealing from him while simultaneously stroking his ego just to get what they want. Oh yeah, and the internet had a lot to say about Kevin's declining millionaire status. Quote, Kevin Hart often uses humor to deal with personal and professional challenges. However, behind the comedy, there's real effort and sometimes desperation to maintain relevance, recover from scandals, or simply keep the success train moving. Unfortunately, Mr. Hart can't stop this boat. It's time to face the music. End quote. Quote, he sold out his close friend. He has bad karma for decades and generations. End quote. Do you guys think that Kevin's gambling problem is really costing him? Or is he too big of a star to fail? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see Cat Williams tear up Kevin like beef jerky in reference to his connection for being friends with Diddy, check this video out. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, baddies.